Grow by Joanne Early Mackin. Illustrated by Stephanie Pfizer Coleman. If you were an acorn, you'd swing from a stout twig, snug inside a hard brown shell, bristled cap on your head. One day you'd drop to the leafy floor. Slowly you'd crack your jacket. Then bit by bit, year after year, you'd stretch roots into soil and trunk and limbs into sky. You'd be an oak tree, reaching lobed leaves toward sunlight. If you were a caterpillar, you'd inch over milkweed, munching, stripes blending in with shadows and stems, shedding your skin when it grew too tight. You'd button yourself to a leaf, molt one last time, and wriggle into a blue-green chrysalis. After a while you'd pop out, unfold orange wings, and flutter from flower to flower. You'd be a monarch butterfly, sipping sweet nectar from wind-blown blooms. If you were a tadpole, you'd swish and dart in a mossy pond, breathe murky water through gills and slick skin, nibble on green water weeds. Gradually, you'd grow legs, back and front. They'd lengthen and strengthen. Your tail would shrink. One day, breathing air into lungs, you'd crawl onto land, hop after prey, and snatch it with your long, sticky tongue. You'd be a leopard frog, leaping through rustling reeds. If you were a hatchling, you'd climb up through soft sandy soil, scurry past long-legged wading birds, and burrow into a muddy stream bed. Your shell would protect your head, legs and tail, growing larger each year, shedding old scoots as new ones formed underneath. On warm days you'd bask on a sunlit log. You'd be a painted turtle, plopping into a rippling pond. If you were a duckling, you'd waddle to water, following your mother and sisters and brothers, all downy fluff, flapping and peeping and pecking. Over the summer, you'd trade down for feathers. You'd forage in foliage, dabble upended, learn how to fly, and flap to the sky. Come fall, you'd join a flock winging south. You'd be a mallard duck, migrating over cities and farms. If you were a fawn, you'd rest among ferns and soft grasses, hidden in dappled sunlight, speckled and shy, waiting. You'd stand on spindly legs. First, you'd wobble. Later, lankier, you'd sprint and then spring. You'd wander on trails through forest and field, leaving heart-shaped tracks as you browsed. You'd be a white-tailed deer, bounding along roadsides and riverbanks. When you were a baby, snug in a blanket, you gazed at the world, bright eyes open wide, holding onto a finger with your whole tiny hand. You babbled and cooed. You listened and learned. Now look at you. Look at all you can do. Splash in the shallows like turtles and ducks. Search for an acorn, a tadpole, a butterfly. Leave your dear footprints wherever you go. You're the only true you, unlike any other in this whole dazzling world. You're finding your own way to grow.